Good morning. Right, we're going to have a bit play about with the bike today. I'm going to be changing the handlebars. That's going to be the first job. So there's two big jobs to do. One, I want to change the bars, and two, I need to take the carbs off and give the carbs a clean, because I'm pretty sure they're a bit gummed up. So I'll put you on time lapse and you can have a watch how, as I say, I'll change the bars, see how we get on. Part of it, I'm going to take the petrol tank off, because obviously I need to get to the carbs, to take the carbs off to clean them. But also I have a feeling I'm going to have to rewire the accelerator cable and clutch cables, etc. So I think it's just going to be a lot easier with the tank off. So we'll take that off as well. First things first though, we'll take the battery off. There we go, battery's off, so might as well stick that on charge while we're working away. Next, we're going to take the petrol tank off. I've already taken, obviously, the side plastics off and the seat off. So all that's left is two bolts that go through either side here. And then the tank just slides back. Obviously, I have to take the hoses off. And there's a petcock in the top of the tank as well, which needs switched off. So let's get on with that. Now those bolts are out, the tank should just slide back. Right, I'll bring you in here for a closer look. Right. Can you see the petcock there? Can you make it out? There we go. So it's got just a little screw shut off in the centre. So if it's pointing vertically, straight up and down, that's in the on position. And if you turn it horizontally, so it's pointing left to right, that's in the off position. So we need to switch that off, obviously, before we take these hoses off. All we need is a long flat screwdriver. There we go, that's now switched off. Right, now for the next bit, for taking the hoses off, the manual suggests you take them off on the tank, but to be honest with you, there's very little room to get your hands in there. So personally I find it easier just to take them off from the petcock. You're going to have fuel will come out, so have a rag handy. There we go, that's the two fuel hoses off the petcock. From the petrol tank, when you take the hoses off, you'll notice there's two brass prongs come down basically from the tank with the hoses on. The one at the front facing, is longer than the one at the back. The longer one at the front goes to the right hand side of the petcock. The shorter one at the back goes to the left hand side. So the right one, as you're looking from the left hand side of the bike, the right one goes to the left one goes to the right. Now you need to be careful because some of the manuals actually have that the wrong way around. I'll try and put a drawing up on the video so you can see the correct plumbing for it anyway. But as I say, some manuals and some instructions do have it the wrong way around, so be careful on that. The only other one to note is now we've got the two fuel pipes off. There's a drain pipe on the bottom of the tank, which you can't really go wrong, you'll see it. so you just need to pull that off as well, like a breather hose kind of thing. Right, now the tank's off, I think we'll just start taking things to bits, eh? So I think we'll start with these dials. Let's see if we can get them off. Actually, the cables are in the way. Change of plan, we'll take the risers off first, shall we? There's the clocks off. Now this, like I've said before, is just a top plate as part of the top yoke. So I've got a new plate which has risers fitted to it. So this just got two caps here with two bolts through, so we'll take the caps off, take the bolts through, and then we need to get these bars off. So I'll just let you have a quick look at this. We're just taking the risers off here. So it's just two Allen bolts there basically. Obviously same on the other side. I've already taken the clocks off. They just had two bolts through there that are just like, there you go, they're just coach bolts. You can see it has a square head on it there, which obviously just falls into place on those two there with a nut on the back. So it's just a case of taking the nut off. They're not caps, although I did think that they might just be flicky off caps at first, but they're not. I think it's safe to say these risers have never been off before. What a pig. I don't know if it's thread lock in there or what, but what a pig they were to get off. So anyway, we'll take them off and crack on. Right, there we go. I've taken the two little silver caps off. So you've got a 6mm Allen on this side. And then if I can get here under, so you can see the bolt under, the nut underneath. Can you see that? This nut here, that's the nut underneath, 14mm nut. One thing I wasn't expecting, it's actually got a cotter pin through the end there. So obviously just take the cotter pins out, take the Allen nut bolts out, and hopefully that top plate should come free. So let's have a go. There's the first bolt out. Look at the state of that. As you can see, it's got the hose through the end there. Oh, focus. The split pin to go through. But definitely took some breaking the seal, that. So that just goes through the top plate, obviously from the top, and then on the bottom, underneath the top yoke, you have a washer and a nut. That's it. So we'll take the other one out, and then hopefully that top plate should come off. That one's not as bad as the other one, but still pretty crusty. And there we have it, that's the top plate off. And as if by magic, here's a new top plate that has risers on for bars. What was the difference? Should we get the polisher out and see what we can do with this one? Yeah? I think that's a good idea. I think we definitely need to clean it up, don't we? Let me have a bit play with that and I'll see what we can come up with. We've now fast forwarded nearly 4 weeks, 27 days to be exact, because we hit a bit of a snag. I'll show you what it is. Let's have a look. Now, from the last video, you'll see I ordered a new top yoke plate with the risers built in. However, it won't work on my bike, and I'll show you why. Let's have a look. Put that plate on there, where the risers are. My model of bike has preload adjusters on the top of the forks. And, if we get the forks, the bars rather, when you put the bars on, unfortunately, they touch the preload adjusters on here. So the bars just won't sit in the risers properly. So that completely and utterly snookered my plans. So we went back to the drawing board. What I did is I decided to go the other route and just fit risers to the original top yoke plate. So I bought a set of risers, and I'd like to thank Ewan from Suzuki Motors for hooking me up and giving me the link to the bars he used on his bike. We're going to put the original top plate on, as I say, with risers, and see how that looks. Now, there's another issue if you're using risers instead of the original, the other top yoke plate. The bolts that you get with them, I think, are only about 60mm long, and they're not long enough to fit through the top yoke plate and all the rest. So I had to order 80mm M10 bolts instead. Now, the original bolts that come with the risers only have a 14mm head, and it needs to be a 14mm head because it fits into this recess here inside the riser. So the ball goes in there, and obviously that captures it there. So it has to be a 14mm head. Now, if you can find an 80mm M10 bolt with a 14mm head, then you're a better person than me, because it's impossible. I got in touch with 2 or 3 bolt manufacturers, and they said it doesn't exist. All M10 bolts that are 80mm long all have 17mm heads. So searched the internet, I searched and searched and searched, and lo and behold, on Waymoto's site there's a listing there for 80mm M10 bolts with 14mm heads. Brilliant, I thought jobs are good, and ordered those, but when they arrived, guess what? 17mm heads. So I got in touch with Waymoto, to be fair, and they said, you know, apologised and said sorry about that. There's a new order due in tomorrow, so we'll see what they are when they turn up. The new order arrived tomorrow, and again 17mm heads. So then they went and got in touch with 2 or 3 other manufacturers to see if they can get them with a 40mm head, and they didn't have any joy either. To be fair to Waymoto, they refunded the money for the bolts, so I think it was about £3 for the 2 bolts. They refunded the money, and I'm just having to use them. So again, I know Ewan had to do this as well on Suzuki Motors. Basically, I've just had to grind the head down to a 14mm to fit into the recess. And there we go. So it's ground down and now fits in the recess, so hopefully that'll work, and it should be long enough to get through the top yoke plate and all the top yoke as well. One thing I'd point out is I tried grinding them down on the bench grinder and didn't have much success. In the end, I just switched to putting them in a vise and just filing them by hand, and I think that was much easier than trying to use the bench grinder, to be fair. So just thought I'd mention that in case you're trying it yourself. Anyway, let's get them on and see how it looks. There we go, new bars are on. Hopefully you'll agree, I think they look a bit better than the last ones. The top yoke plate was originally silver and was all a bit mottled and manky, so that's had a coat of good old Simoner's Tough Black. Dale would be so proud. So there we go, the new bars are on. Obviously they've been put back on with thread lock. When you're watching people's videos, how come they seem to get the bars in the right position like within 1 or 2 goes? I've been fanning on for about 45 minutes trying to get these bars in the right position, but I'm happy with where they are now. The old grips just got cut off because you'll see I've got Oxford hot grips to go on, and that's one of the reasons why I was messing about with all the positions so much, because obviously this where the wire goes on the hot grips, you have to get it in the right place, because obviously if you had it around there, the clutch lever is going to hit it, and obviously the same on the throttle. So I wanted to make sure I was happy with where everything was, so I've got the Oxford hot grips in the right position before I put the glue on. So now over to the clocks. What I'm doing while I'm here, just because it seems to make sense really, I've got some new bulbs to replace all the instruments. They're just 501 wedge bulbs, so I'm just going to pull all those out and put new bulbs in just while I'm here, just because. Alright, 2 ticks. Right, there you go. Clocks are back on. I think it looks pretty good, doesn't it? With the grips next. Right, now this here, you see, if you reuse the top yoke plate, the original one that had the clip-ons, you're left with 2 holes here where the clip-ons mounted. I mean, obviously you've got options there, haven't you? You could just leave them as holes, or I don't know, maybe fill them with bodge. I decided just to put a couple of bolts in each one. But I think what I'll do, because I'm putting the heated grips on, I might actually utilise this one here. And what we'll do is we'll put the mount on for the heated grips for the controller. So it seems a sensible idea, I think. So let's give it a bash and see how it turns out there. There you go, so we've utilised that bolt on the end there to put the bracket on for the Oxford heated grips. I'll bring you around, let's have a look. I think that should do, doesn't seem to be in the way or anything there. You still see the clocks and everything, so hopefully job's a good one. So now just need to glue the grips on and then we'll take it from there. Right, for bar ends, I've just picked these little bar ends here. Got them from Amazon. I think they were about £6. Just a little billet aluminium, and with a rubber sort of mushroom on the end, so when you tighten the Allen screw, it just mushrooms up and holds them in place, and you get like 3 different sized inserts. So we'll pop them on. Let's have a look. Okay, there we go. The end caps are on, heated grips are glued on. So the controller's mounted, like I said, on one of those spare bolts there. What do you think? I think it looks alright. Quite happy with that. So with the heated grips, obviously you've got a cable, comes from each grip, and then they've connected together there. And then there's a third connector which then follows the existing wiring loom all the way along to the battery. These ones are the intelligent ones that just hook directly to the battery, and when you switch off, what they're supposed to do is, you know, the sense, I don't know how magic I think, but the sense that the bike's switched off, I think just by the voltage, because obviously it drops to 12 volts or whatever instead of 14, you know, when it's charging, and they switch themselves off. So there we go. What do you think? I'm pretty happy with that. So I think that's job done for today. Next job, well, I've still got the tank and everything off, is to get these carbs off and give them a clean before we put it all back together. So you can join us for that one in a bit as well. See you all later. Ta-ra now.